What's up, guys? Welcome back to the show. George Zapata with the Zapata brand. No boxing and bagels. This is just me doing my recap of this weekend. Diz is away a little bit. He's got some stuff to handle, so I didn't have him in studio this week. But we had a small. The weekend of boxing wasn't huge, but it was. There was two stories that I'm sure you guys had heard about. So I wanted to get those two fights, or if you hadn't seen them over the weekend. First, we had Oscar Duarte in a war with Keith Sims Jr. And second, we had the return of Gabriel King Rosado. He's a Philadelphia fighter, Puerto Rican fighter, one of my favorite fighters. And I wanted to see how he would react being off the time he was, and if he was still the same Gabe Rosado that was the warrior he was prior to his. I don't know if he retired officially, him taking a layoff. So let's get right into it. Let's go right out of the gate with Oscar Duarte. He's now 30 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. He's got 23 knockouts. The guy can bang. He pulled off a majority decision victory over Kenneth Sims Jr. He now drops to 22-3, and he also has 1 draw. Now, the fight had everything back and forth. You know, Sims started strong. He had a sharp jab, slick footwork. He was moving well, I thought. But as the rounds went on, which I thought was going to happen, Duarte's pressure and he just punches very hard. I know a couple people who have sparred with him. They said he's a very hard puncher. And Duarte started going to the body, landing heavy shots, heavy hooks to the body, and he also throwing in that uppercut. And right around the middle rounds, he started walking Sims down. Now, was it close? Yes, it was close. So I'm going to get to the scorecards in a second. But one of the highlights came in the 7th round when Duarte pinned Sims against the rope and cracked him with a clean overhand right. You could see Sims starting to really wear down. But to his credit, he stayed in it. He boxed smart. And he made it competitive down the stretch. I thought he was going to pull away. I thought Duarte would pull away in the last few rounds, which is what had happened. The judge saw it closer than I did. 2 gave it to Duarte, and 1 had it even. But the fans are split. Some thought Sims deserved at least a draw, and others say that Duarte's shots, his power, and his aggression sealed the deal. Some people like boxers. Some people like power punchers. Either way, Duarte proved he's a real problem in this division. I mean, I think after his fight with Garcia, people counted him out. And I don't think that was fair. I didn't think that was fair at all. But here's the big part of this whole thing. Duarte now just earned a shot at the WBA super lightweight champion, Gary Antoine Russell. That's a huge fight for him because when you write someone off, it's just a puncher. And I'm not saying he's just a puncher in the terms of that's all he's got. But he relies on his punching power and his pressure. And if he can come back to that, because he's going to absorb a lot of punches, give a couple punches, when people come back from that, that is a huge mental obstacle to overcome. And he did. But between Antoine Gary Russell and Duarte, this is going to be a must-see TV pay-per-view. If it goes on pay-per-view, I don't know if they're going to do it anymore, but at least must-see TV. Now let's turn our attention to Gabriel King Rosado. At 39 years old, after more than 2 years out of the ring, Rosado came back like he had never left. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Rosado knows how to fight. He knows how to fight. He knows how to take punishment also. His record now stands at 26-17, 1 draw, 15 knockouts. It's the one thing that he does to have. He has a lot of losses. And that kind of makes people turned off. But this guy is in every fight. He's an exciting fight. And by the way, he fights everybody. He will fight anybody no matter what. Now, in his fight against Andino, it didn't take long. Now, it was 1 round, 2 minutes into the first round, and he ripped a right hook to the body, followed it up with a huge overhand right, and Andino went down and stayed down just like that. I mean, it was over quickly. Now, Andino is not a top fighter, but it's someone you want to get to see where Rosado is because of the layoff. And the fact that Rosado's taken a lot of punishment in his career, and I mean a lot of punishment. One, I'm amazed that he has the mind that he still has. But 2, there's a time when you get into that ring and you just don't have it, and it happens overnight. He still got it. And people are loving it. And now the talk is about how sharp and how motivated Rosado looks. He looked calm, patient, deadly with these shot selections. It really wasn't. He only hit him with 2 real good shots, and that was it. But Rosado did exactly what he needed to do to make a statement. But here's the key thing after this fight. Right after the fight, Rosado called out Edgar Berlanga, and I think it's a good time to call him out. And that's a fight in Puerto Rico. It's a matchup people are going to pay to see. It's a matchup people are going to want to pay to see. Because it's against Berlanga, who's looked horrible in his last fight. He did not look good. He talked a lot of crap, and he got his ass kicked. That's not good. But it would be a great fight because you have someone who's well-liked in Rosado. He is very well-liked, especially in the Puerto Rican community. And you got a guy like Berlanga who might talk too much for Puerto Ricans to like him, but he does fight. I mean, the Canelo fight was a little bit off, but he will fight, especially if this fight happens and what they're saying is going to happen in Puerto Rico. All right, so here's where we are. Here's a quick recap. Duarte is knocking on the door of a world title shot, and Rosado is reminding the boxing world that his heart and grit will never go away. They're two different stories, but the same lesson here. Never count a fighter out with something to prove. If you've enjoyed this recap, hit that subscribe button, and I'll bring you the best updates and breakdowns every single week. Hopefully, Boxing and Bagels will be back next week, and we get some more big fights. I'm George Zapata, and thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.